I told that boy extra crispy bacon. He did extra crispy bacon.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the GOUTopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to what is now called the Snort Report. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to go ahead and thank Voiceless Geek for his submission to what the tagline was going to be. And I thank you to everybody else who's actually submitted or given an idea over I don't even know how long I've been saying there's no tagline yet. I'm not really quite sure. But Voiceless Geek ends up winning that one. Voiceless Geek, sorry, ends up winning that. So thank you very much to Voiceless Geek. And that's what we're going to call the show moving forward. So, yeah. Now, with that being said, I should go ahead and put this caveat in there. Because in the couple days I've been off since the last video, which I think was maybe the last wing report I put out, I had recorded like 3 or 4 videos, and everybody was just super busy, so no one had a chance to upload them. It's no big deal. It's just shit happens and whatnot. I had to bail out of town unexpectedly. You know, life comes at you fast. So you're gonna see at least 2-3 episodes maybe that aren't gonna actually have that tagline in. You know why, basically. So that's what the situation is with that. And then, as you guys may or may not remember, there's like 10 or 12 episodes that we thought were lost. We were able to recover it, clean some of it up, and that'll be coming out soon too. So you'll know. So I just want to kind of throw that out there as a bit of transparency. But thank you yet again to Voiceless Geek. Thank you to anybody who put out a suggestion. I very much appreciate it. Don't worry, I don't smell no bacon cooking. I don't see no bacon cooking. All of the usual stuff will still be used in rotation. I need to put it on a shirt or something. Eventually, I'll get around to it, I'm sure. But that's what that situation is. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now that we have that out the way, because I thought it was important, because it is. I very much appreciate people investing their time into whatever you want to call this. Let's talk about what I have on the menu for you guys today. So we're going to be here with one of our favorites, Snort, Burnell, Dspgaming. Let's see. First one is the ego is massively strong, and then the second one should be interesting. Axe the King, toxic and strong, and without there's something missing there. And without Fortnite, Ninja wouldn't even exist. Oh boy. That's an interesting way of putting it. So, the ego massively strong, it's all Phil has. It's the final frontier of what's propping Phil up. Once his body gives away, which I'm sure it'll be a detractor's fault, probably Tevin. Sorry, Tevin. Praise be almighty, but you know you're going to take the hit for that. Like you're the one who forced all that food down his gullet and you gave him gout. So, you and his aunt will have to share that responsibility. Excuse me. And once his body gives up, the only thing he'll have left is his ego. He doesn't have anything else. It's the one thing that he's been willing to sacrifice time, money, business opportunities. It's all been for his ego. It's actually quite extraordinary, to be honest with you, because I don't know about you, but I'm not willing to put my ego before money. My pride, maybe, but not my ego. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, the only color that really matters is green. You know what I mean? Especially if you owe, I don't know, 17,000 plus in taxes. So it is what it is on that. And Axe the King. So let me throw this out there. I will actually go over the whole Axe the King. It's about 2 hours, give or take. So we'll do that at a later time. Hopefully not too late. I want to try to get it done sometime this week because Phil goes on vacation next week, and I have a whole cornucopia of stuff for you on his week off. So it might be thrown in there. Look out for that. Don't know how long it's going to be. Probably going to be long. So, and if you're Swaggin's mother, you do not mind that. And so that's the situation with that. But this is going to give us a snippet of what Snort Burnell's greatness has pulled from that, and we'll go from there. as for Ninja wouldn't exist without Fortnite. Ninja's was well known way before Fortnite. I don't mean to sound like a broken record. You guys all know this. But Fortnite, he's been around before that. What Fortnite did, to be honest, was give Ninja a chance to reinvent himself. The problem is he's a toxic piece of shit of an individual. I'm sorry, he is what it is. He's a toxic fucking gamer and whatnot. He was able to hold himself together just enough to make this money. And the guy is incredibly skilled too, don't get it twisted. Incredibly skilled. But, you know, that's really what it came down to. You know what I'm saying? He was in the right place at the right time. He has the skill set to make it happen. Something Phil couldn't imagine. He is, and you know what I'm saying? He can rally people around him. It works out. But at his core, Ninja's a toxic fucking individual. Or he's at least a toxic gamer. So it is what it is. That's why he's in a decline now. He could only keep the act up for so long. He was only going to be on top of Twitch for so long. But he had a good run. If you want to look at it from a practical standpoint, Ninja had a really good run. He has a bunch of contacts when it comes to sponsors and this, that, and the third. He's going to be fine. He's theoretically set for life. His family will be set for life as long as he plays his cards right. I don't know if you needed to do a $200,000 room to your greatness. I don't know if you needed that. That theoretically just could have been a whole nother house. But whatever, to each their own. But outside of that, Ninja will be taken care of for the rest of his life. You know what I'm saying? That, and he made what, $1 million off that Apex deal, and then the Samson deal, and then everything else. The only thing I would say from a business standpoint that he may have messed up was the situation with Drake. To be honest with you, because Drake is still kind of like the gatekeeper to what Ninja, to certain things that Ninja can't have access to. And so him doing whatever he did with that was probably unnecessary. That was probably Ninja caught up in his feelings, so on and so forth. But now he's going to be caught in the vortex, which is Drake. And if you know anything about Drake, you know he's all about his feelings. and apparently Champagne Poppy still holds grudges. So it is what it is. He'll let certain shit go, but not everything. But anyway, so that's what's on the lineup, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you yet again, the Voiceless Geek, and to anybody else. And let's get into, I should say, what is the Snort Report. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network Production. You guys all know the slogan, and I don't see no bacon cooking yet, which means it's time to watch me work.
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Alright. Sounds good to me.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, yet again, we are here with one of our favorites, Snort Burnell, Dspgaming. The ego is massively strong. It might be the only thing, to be honest.
First of all, outside of everything in the realm of my streams and gameplay and the like, one very quick thing that I do want to talk about very quickly is Article 13, which did pass in the European Union as of this morning. Obviously, for those of us who are internet content creators, this is awful, horrendously bad news. We want people all over the world to be able to watch our live streams and on-demand videos. And the fact that the European Union does not want that, at least the government of the European Union does not seem to want that, seems absolutely ludicrous. I'm not going to say much else about it. I have talked repeatedly about this horrendous law, and, you know, basically the way it works now is it's 2 years where every single country in the European Union now has time to figure out how they're going to implement this law. And basically YouTube already made a statement this morning saying, well, you know, there were a few things that were changed in the law before it passed that made us feel a little bit better, but you know, we still don't feel good about it, and we're just going to do a wait-and-see attitude to see how this is basically implemented throughout the European Union countries. YouTube and Twitch have already come out publicly and said that, sadly, if the law is just, applied blanket without any kind of realistic, expectations of being fair to in online businesses, they're just going to have to blanket ban people. Like, if you're in the European Union, you won't be able to watch streams and you won't be able to watch videos, period. They basically said, we're not going to, on a one-off basis, determine if each and every one of our content creators have a license to broadcast in the European Union, or vice versa. If someone who lives in the European Union has a license to broadcast anywhere at all, we're just going to ban people because we just not going to, we can't do that. We don't have the capacity or the means to enforce this stupid law, and we're not going to get sued into oblivion because this law basically says that if you are broadcasting anything into the European Union, you need to have a license to do it. So if this actually gets, enforced the way that the law is written, that's it. And it's going to be a 2-year time limit for all the countries in the European Union to determine how this will be enforced. Now, in 2 years, a lot can change. People can still vote out the people who voted for this, and they get new people into positions of power who say, we don't want this, and they can repeal it, get rid of it. I have no idea what's going to happen. The future is very uncertain because of this stupid law. Okay? And that's all I'm really going to say. There's nothing else to say. For me to sit here and harp on it doesn't really make sense. If you live in the European Union, it definitely makes sense for you to research what's going on and to try to get these people out of power if you don't support this law, period. Okay? That's it. There's really no reason for me to even talk about it anymore. Because I've created awareness in my viewership. I let you guys know what was going on. It passed anyway, which I don't believe was the will of the people. It was the will of the government of the European Union, which is wrong. The government's supposed to serve the people, not vice versa, so it makes no sense they even did this. And that's that. Okay? So now...
Alright, let me cut in. So, first things first. As it pertains to content creators and who are going to suffer from this, let's be perfectly honest. Let me be frank with you for a minute. Those at the very top, your top echelon of YouTube and Twitch streamers are not going to get affected. There'll be certain consensus made for them, so they're gonna business as usual. Basically, it is what it is. Just being practical. If you guys had an opportunity to see Mr. Medicare's return stream, which this is his first time back on YouTube, at least on his channel, in like the last 6 months, maybe 7, something along those lines. He had actually talked about this. He talked about Article 11 and Article 13. If, excuse me, if I don't get a chance, I'll see if I can talk to one of the fellows and see if we can clip out some segments that he had actually talked about that. If not, I'll leave the link in the video or something. One of us will. We'll leave the link in the description if you guys haven't seen it. It's about 2.5 hours long, but the part that you're really going to want to hear will be in the first half hour. I'll try to work something out on that. Excuse me. So you can at least hear what the situation is. But basically the top echelon of Twitch streamers and YouTubers are going to be taken care of. That's the first thing. Second thing, with it passing, there's a couple of interesting reasons on why it may have passed. But one of them is that a couple of the Swedish diplomats ended up messing up in their votes. Hence the reason why all of this passed. So essentially it was all a mistake. That's an interesting thing to think about. Medicare, as well as a few other people, actually touched on that. So like I said, I'll try to clip it in the segment if I can. If not, I'll ask one of the guys here to do it. So there's that. As it pertains to viewership in general, for Phil, it doesn't really matter either which way because he ban hammers just about anybody and everybody anyway. So he can't really come to you guys and try to appeal to you about viewership when he bans just about everybody over every little goddamn thing anyway. Seems a bit frivolous and dishonest. But, that's the Burnell way, apparently. So there you go on that one. The next thing, which I find to be, it's almost jokingly fascinating, is the fact that Phil said, "Oh, I tried to make awareness to my audience, this, that, and the third, and it passed anyway." Well, first things first, Twitch and YouTube, to some extent, told all of their content creators, to spread awareness. Now, let's be perfectly honest with you, Phil. You and that little roach nest that you have over there weren't going to get anything done anyway, to be honest. They're much better at snitching on each other than actually doing anything productive. Let's be perfectly honest. With that being said, what made you think out of the 300 to 500 people that scurry around there at any given time that anything productive was going to come out of that at all? What was any of them going to be able to do? They can barely hold themselves together, let alone do anything productive outside of that situation. Two, to be honest with you, what actual advantages did that give them? At least on your behalf. Yeah, they probably would have done it for other content creators that they give a damn about, but not you. What would be the point of that? It's a bit irrelevant, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? People, just because people hang out over there doesn't necessarily mean that they like being there. It's just a place to hang out and shitpost, as far as I'm concerned. But that's neither here nor there. Third, you can barely hold yourself together. So what made you think you were going to have any type of deep impact over there, over Article 11 or Article 13? Don't worry, I'll wait. Like, what did you think was really going to happen? You thought you were going to just rally up the troops and all of a sudden shit was going to happen? Were you in constant contact with Sargon? Are you part of UKIP and we don't know? What exactly were you doing? I don't remember you taking the front lines on any of those things. I don't remember you coming out of boot camp. So how did that work? I think that you have this disillusion of grandeur, like somehow, some way, the will of Phil Burnell was going to go ahead and carry the day. You can barely carry your own weight, let alone shoulder the responsibility that comes with something like this. And if things mess up, and if things really go to shit over the next 2 years, in 4 years, guess what you're going to do? You're going to be just another old man on Twitch bitching about everything that fucked up in life, and then by then, it should be, let's see how it's going to go. The haters, the trolls, the detractors, Tevin, YouTube, all of Europe, Article 13, they all screwed me over. They all held me down. They all saw my greatness, and yet they held me back. Praise be Almighty. That's what happened. That's why I'm where I'm at right now. Is that what the new scheme is going to be, Phil? Just another person to blame for your shortcomings? Should be funny either which way. Let's continue. DSP News.
Now, let's continue on. All right, let's continue on positively and hope for the best for the future and hope that this thing actually does not get enforced in any capacity that's going to hurt people. But if it does, there's not much I can do about it, and we'll see what happens. Okay, in particular, if you guys are in the European Union, it makes sense for you to figure out what's going on. Okay? All right.
By the way, I need to raise a lot of money this month. Tips, I needed them pretty badly. And I need that money to pay my bills.
My trip to Connecticut is going to be the second week of April. All right? So, that actually means that when I come back from this next break, I'm only going to be streaming for a couple days. I believe that would be, let me check the time frame here. So, Wednesday is the 3rd of April. So, I'm going to be coming back on the 4th, which is a Thursday, full streaming day. That Friday, April 5th, is the date of my next marathon. Yes, the marathon will be incredibly similar to the last one, where I'm going to be balancing games you guys want to see, alright, with some chill stuff. And it's going to be going probably 12 hours, just like the last marathon I just did. And the whole point of the marathon is in hope of my last hurrah attempt to not only raise funds for my taxes via tips, but also it's a birthday celebration, because that next day, April 6th, is my actual birthday. Okay? So we'll have decorations up next week. I'm going to decorate for for my birthday week and everything, all culminating in this marathon that's going to happen at the end of the week. Okay? And then that Saturday is my final day of streaming, I believe, before my trip to Connecticut, my actual birthday. I will be here all day long on my actual birthday, April 6th, streaming. And then basically I'm out of here for about a week.
Okay, so let me cut it. So the plan's been laid out. They're going on vacation literally the week after his birthday. His birthday falls on Saturday. Marathon's on Friday. And then they're going to be gone from at least Monday through Friday the following week, and so on and so forth, for this to basically put his sick and dying parents in the ground. I'm sorry, his parents aren't actually terminally ill. I'm sorry, his parents aren't actually that sick. They just really want to see him and Kat, before things get bad. As if, I'm sorry, as time comes, one ages, and as one ages, stuff's going to eventually happen. So it's funny how we went from two people who were possibly going to die, right? They were on their last hurrah, if you will, to now, oh, well, they just want to come out, and they want us to just come out and meet Kat. But I couldn't go because of my taxes. Oh, well, they're going to flip the bill now, so I'm going to go ahead and go. But what happened with the taxes? Oh, you want to go ahead and have one failed marathon, which was laughable at best. Then you had the, actually, you had a retrospective event, which was a joke. You had a marathon, which was garbage. Now you're going to have another marathon, which we all know that's going to fail. It's going to be absolutely amusing. And then you have your birthday bash. So basically, we have an entire week dedicated to this guy's birthday for him to try to raise money. Now, let's think about some of the parameters of the first marathon to what we have now. first marathon. This is almost to the T. Okay, guys, so it's been decided that I'm going to go ahead and play the games that I want to play, because you guys told me I should play the games that make me happy, that I find enjoyable, right? And you guys are going to basically give me money. I'm going to sit around for 12 hours and play games that I want to play. Actually, not even 12 hours, really like 8, 9. It's basically a normal streaming day for the most part. I'm going to sit around and play all the games that I want to play, the games that I find interesting, and you guys are just going to give me money, and that's that. Now, all of that failed, because if you guys were around for most of that, I think he played Sekiro first, and that made the most money for 2 reasons. One, because it was the beginning of the stream, everybody's going to show up, and as Wings has said, as others, you're going to probably make the most amount of money at the beginning of a stream, or at the beginning of a marathon, which is what happened. It was the beginning of the marathon, so he made a shitload of money. Then he had a lot more engagement later, well, within the first 2 hours of that marathon, because not only it was the beginning of the marathon itself, but Sekiro was being played, and everybody loves watching Phil fail at that. End of story. Everything else after that, it kind of just tapered off. It should be expected, to be perfectly honest with you. And him getting greedy and trying to throw Nintendo there for whatever shits and giggles completely backfired in his face. Amusing, nonetheless, though. And then after that, he played it out with, what, Call of Duty, and then had an hour plus segment of him begging for money. Mysteriously, $200 came up out of nowhere, and then he walked away. How much was it? It was like 11. Actually, someone left me notes, so I appreciate that. Let's see. He walked away with $1,126 as the grand total for 12 hours of work. Not a bad take for a day. I mean, after everybody takes their cut, of course, but still not a bad cut, to say the very least. But still a perpetual failure. And now, what's the notion? What's the amount of money that needs to be raised? At the very least, the total amount is $17,161. He'll settle for $5,000. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but if you're about to lose your home, you would think you would at least try to settle for half, not $5,000. Well, okay, whatever. Well, he has $4,000. He has $3,000. He has $1,000 plus, if you think about it. So all he has now is the marathon, which we know is going to fail, and then we're going to have his birthday, his actual birthday, for people to donate money. Now, let's talk about the new marathon. Now he wants to play games that other people want him to see, what the viewers actually want. Seems a bit ironic, because we went from doing what you wanted to do, Phil, and failing, because that's what usually happens, to now seeing what other people want. The problem is, it's not exactly what other people want. He's going to go with the games that he had the most interaction and positivity from. Well, that's not necessarily what these people want. And last time I checked, people wanted a 12-hour marathon of Sekiro. And to be perfectly honest with you, as much as he hates the game and he bitches about it almost every session, if you've watched the Dark Dave Mirror, shouts out Dark Dave Mirror, or Lightside Bill, shouts out Lightside Bill, you know all this. So with that being said, he's better off doing the marathon, playing that for at least 4 or 5 hours, just so people can see him burnt out, just so people can see him pissed off, and get as much money as he can off that. Or even better, try to actually beat the game during that marathon. And then whatever time is left is whatever time is left. He'll throw Blackout in there. Seems like the better idea. That's what people want to see. People want to see him fail at Sekiro. And trust me, he hasn't disappointed. If someone is running, someone somewhere, whether on Kiwi Farms or wherever, is holding an active toll, or is running an active tally on how many times he's died, why not add to it? It's what all of us are expecting anyway. Anyway, so that's where our situation is with that. People are not actually getting what they want. He's just giving them what he feels people are responding to positively. Now, let's talk about his actual birthday itself. So, ladies and gentlemen, your birthday only comes around once a year. It's your day. Do what you want with it. Okay? We got our gentleman here. We got our resident pig, who's going from 36 to 37. He's going to celebrate his whole week is going to celebrate his birthday. And on top of that, he really expects you guys to come out and give him an enormous amount of money for not just it being his birthday, for another year of him existing and failing and everything else, but also to help pay these taxes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys remember back to last year, to when we saw that dry-ass cake that looked like sandpaper that he was scarfing down and whatnot, and you remember how he celebrated his whole how he celebrated his birthday last year, a week literally dedicated to him and his alleged greatness. How much did people really care back then? How much money did he really garnish that week? Matter of fact, sorry. What about the soulmate? You know, his lover. Well, he shares that, but whatever. His lover, his soulmate, the woman who he apparently wants to marry if he had the money, and he doesn't have the money, so they're not going to get married. Sounds similar to Panda in a lot of ways, to be honest. What about her? She made him this cake, even though some people thought she actually bought it. Let's not take anything away from her. She made that cake, and she didn't care enough about him to even sit there and eat it with him, or even sit down next to him and maybe just interact with the chat while he ate it. He said himself that he asked her many times if she would come in there and just have a piece of cake with him. She was like, no, I'm so tired, this, that, and the third, no, I can't, because allegedly she worked that day. But she wouldn't partake in any cake with him. Fair enough. And then, as you remember, he had his little stream, and then somebody, can't remember who, actually rated his stream, happy birthday, increased his viewership, half hour maybe. He may have entertained them for maybe 15 minutes, maybe a half hour, and then he booked out. Oh, guys, I gotta go, because Kat, she's really tired, and she has to go to work in the morning, and I'm gonna spend a little bit of time with her before we go to bed, so I'm gonna spend the rest of my birthday. Thank you guys for coming out, and I really appreciate it. Maybe you guys, if you showed up an hour earlier, you wouldn't have missed anything, but sorry guys, I just can't afford to stay up, man. I gotta go with my lady. I gotta go with my girl. So, sorry guys. So he squandered an opportunity that someone presented him by bringing extra viewership to him. He squandered that. The soulmate didn't even want to give 15 minutes, didn't even want to stay up for 15 minutes with him on stream to have him eat that dry-ass cake. And how much money did he make? He didn't make that crazy amount. And it didn't even really matter what he made because it didn't go towards taxes. He didn't pay any taxes last year. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I'm under the assumption that people didn't really care. I could be wrong. I'm wrong about a lot of things. I'm not wrong about everything. So I would assume this is going to be just another flop. And then you get to see people like me make a comparison video of how things went last year and how things went this year. So at least we have that. DSP News.
I'll be flying out to Connecticut with Kat to to spend time with my parents. She'll meet them for the first time. We actually are starting to plan specific activities and things that we're going to be doing together.
Thanks for the money, dummies, because that's exactly what you fucking are. A bunch of fucking empty-headed idiots who paid me money to get absolutely nothing out of it. Thanks. Wow.
And as much as I would like to tell you guys all about that, I'm not going to. Because the bottom line is, the more I give you guys information about this kind of stuff, sadly, it gets misused, it gets misconstrued, it gets twisted into negative stuff. And I don't want to deal with that shit. I just don't. I want to continue to be positive and focus on this time that'll be for me and Kat and my parents. And I don't want to be telling you specifics so people can try to fuck with my trip. Okay? So, I will not be sharing any specifics. However, over the course of that week, I may be taking some pictures and the like and sharing them on my Instagram / Twitter and telling you guys how things are going with the trip and stuff like that. And go from there. And then when I come back, it's going to be full force, because I might still be playing Sekiro. By then, the Phoenix Wright trilogy will have released, and I'm going to start
Now,
playing...
is it Sekiro or Sekiro? I thought it was Sekiro. Either which way. You know me. My pronunciation is terrible anyway, so I can't really jump on him too much about that. First things first. So, we're going on vacation. We've talked about that. We've gone into some of the particulars of that. I find it rather ironic, though, that we're going on vacation literally the week after his birthday, which is it's a nice little caveat to the fact that mommy and daddy, who aren't so sick no more, are going to be flipping the bill. On top of that, because of the fact that his birthday is going to fall on that Saturday, and he's probably not going to end up getting into Connecticut that Monday or Tuesday, depending on if we decide to drop off over there to California for a day or two, whatever. That his parents are going to spoil him rotten when he gets there. Daddy's going to go ahead and slip some money into his pocket. Mom's going to sit there and cook up some nice meals for him, maybe. And they're definitely going to take him out to eat to all of his favorite spots and plus throw him some cash. Reason why is because hospitality's sake. Granted, this woman's only been in your life for a year and you don't know shit about her, or you don't know as much as you think you know. But whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Which leads to another interesting point too about Phil saying that his parents don't really give a shit at this point if he's going to have kids or not. Seems kind of odd because, to be perfectly honest with you, he's old, but he's not that old, so he could still theoretically have kids. So could Kat. And if the parents still have a couple more years left in them, all of a sudden, then it wouldn't be out of the question that they might not want to see a grandchild out of all that. Granted, that's personal preference. It is what it is. Maybe some people just aren't meant to do that. So that is what it is. It is what it is. But I find that a bit interesting. And yet again, I also find it very interesting that this vacation's coming literally the week after his birthday. That's a whole lot of money that's going to be spent that could have, I don't know, maybe go to these taxes to go and save his house. Just saying. And it's funny how we're going ahead and trying to fight up this hill, which was once 17,000 plus, that now has been reduced to about $5,000, which sounds to me just like extra spending money for this trip. Because maybe mommy and daddy can't flip the bill for everything. They'll flip the bill for as much as they can, but not for everything. Just another interesting point I'd like to point out. On top of that, one more thing. So Phil talks about his bad back, yeah? And he talks about some of the reasons why he can't move back to Connecticut or he can't get a apartment in Seattle. Now, somebody was nice enough to... what's my dude's name? Because someone told me about it, and then I ended up retweeting it. Jackie Chen ended up actually doing like a small video on Twitter. I'm actually going to have it at the end of this video. Or at the beginning. Or both. We'll see. Actually made a small video responding to some of the nonsense. And he brings up some great points. But there's the one thing that I took away from that is Phil says he has a bad back, yeah? And so moving back to Connecticut would be horrible because he'd have to shovel snow, this, that, and the third. But, ladies and gentlemen, at the beginning of the year, was he not shoveling snow to get Kat in and out of the driveway? Almost every day? On top of that, didn't Phil say he has like a bad back, but it mutated and now all of a sudden it's been strengthened and now he's perfectly fine? On top of that, didn't he say that at one time or another, I know somebody remembers this, that he said his father's back is really bad too? Like he has it twice, if not triple, the type of severity that Phil has, and yet this man gets up every morning and goes to work and actually works a job? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, it makes me assume that Phil's a liar and a hypocrite and a piece of shit. I could be wrong, of course, but, it just makes you wonder. It just makes you wonder. If you had a bad back and then you went through your mutation to strengthen it, got some more baby back ribs apparently. They ain't tenderized and toughened up or whatever the case may be. You would think if you have to move back to Connecticut, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Right? So I don't see what the problem is. And the whole concept of being able to get an apartment, which would be cheaper than what you have now. And more importantly than that, you can make things work in that. So, someone on Kiwi Farms actually went ahead and pulled it up. And that you can actually see what the dimensions of Phil's apartment is if you want to. Phil was in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and it was about 600 square feet. And he did that. He was working with that since, up to about 2013. Outside of him going to direct capture, everything would have been just fine. But he says that he wouldn't be able, two people can't live in that. He apparently has never been in New York. And more importantly than that, he can't actually have the same type of quality that he has now. Some argue that his quality is actually worse. And if you take down some of the dumb pictures that he has and put soundproofing up, what's the big deal? I don't know. Semantics, I'm sure. Let's go ahead and continue. DSP News.
The third game in Phoenix Wright, which I think is called Trials and Tribulations, and balancing that with whatever other ongoing playthroughs that I have. So it's going to be a very busy week returning, and then after that, the week after, we've got MK11 and Days Gone. So, yeah.
Shout outs! There may be tons of people who have found success on Twitch that every second that someone subscribes, they play an audio cue or they stop what they're doing and they shout out the name. Oh, you sent me a PayPal donation, so-and-so, Joe Blow Splamoni. Thanks so much for the $100 you sent me. By the way, I'll never mention you again because I only do it to take your fucking money. I hate to say it, but people who probably do that don't care about the level of their content. They only care about the money you send them. Again, you need to think about what you do, who you watch. I mean, let's be honest here. Not exactly most intelligent people on the planet. Cheer, sub, and tip me, alright? So, I don't know how stupid you could be. I really don't. Some people are just really fucking stupid, I guess. I mean, you're paying me. You're paying me money to get a temporary, momentary pop-up on the screen. All right? It's just so ludicrous. It's just, it's so stupid, and most people don't pay attention to it. It's like the double whammy of stupid. I don't even know what else to say. It's pretty damn funny. Okay? It's pretty stupid. You know, I've always prided myself on being incredibly honest. Since 2008, when I started on YouTube, that's who I've been, the honest guy.
Cody Carl's shared, he says, I fractured both my feet recently. What's the worst injury you've ever had? Your back? Well, first of all, that is absolutely awful. I'm really sorry to hear that. Both feet. I mean, ouch. That's terrible. So really sorry to hear that. Hopefully they grow better, okay? As for my worst injury ever, surprisingly enough, I never really had many bad injuries. I've never even had a bone break. I would say the worst... I had 2 injuries that are bad. The first was a near-death experience where I got into a really bad car accident in high school, and my entire side of my face was burnt. The whole left side of my face was burnt and bloody and disgusting. And I looked worse than I felt, for sure. But the bottom line is that I almost died. The door impacted to within about an inch of my head. So I almost ate it. And
Wait. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you guys know, I dabble in DSP lore and whatnot. I'm not a connoisseur per se, you know, not like on the levels of like a Tevin, for example. Praise be. And all of the content that I've watched of Tevin, and Tevin's backlog is very extensive. You know what I mean? He goes in deep. I've never heard that at all. I've heard of the car accident, sure, and I thought that was the main cause of his bad back, despite the fact that he's given plenty of stories about the bad back. Oh, it was football. Oh, my backpack was too heavy. Yeah, semantics, I suppose. But what's this whole thing about his face being burned severely and then bloodied and then all this, that, and the third? To be honest with you, his mug looks the exact same as it did back in earlier footage from the FGC. And he hasn't changed except for he's gotten a whole lot fatter and a whole lot uglier. Outside of that, there hasn't really been much that's changed, to be honest with you. Now, granted, ladies and gentlemen, pig skin is actually extremely and incredibly durable. But outside of that, there are no real differential in texture, to be honest. So if he was burnt in the face, there would be scarring. Anybody who's been burned or has seen someone be burned, you know that. So, and I've seen none of that. And he says one side of the face, it all looks the same to me. Does anybody know anything, or has anybody heard anything about this beforehand? I should ask Tevin. But I'll throw it out there. Someone, you know, on the half of your old boy, GTG, just spread the word around. Has anybody actually seen this? Is there any footage of this anywhere? I want to see it. I want to hear it. But this sounds like bullshit to me. And whatnot. And yeah, there's definitely, he does have discoloration of his face, but I would assume that's from the camera. Outside of that, well, it looks like we have another unsolved mystery. If anybody knows anything about this, hit me up on Twitter. I very much appreciate it.
you know.
Huh. Man, that would have been a different scenario for the world, huh? If I never existed as a content creator and stuff, you know, a lot of things would have been different, I guess. Oh!
Well, we can salvage it. Look at that.
Oh, shit.
So, kind of grateful that I got super lucky, right? So that was not as bad of an injury as a potential injury. It was really bad. I would say, yeah, definitely the worst situation I've ever been in injury-wise was my back injury, which was severe. You know, severely herniated disc in my lower back. I was losing control of my legs. They were either numb or in shooting sharp pain all the time.
Now, as I said before, he says he has one herniated disc. His father has like two or three of those, and yet he's still doing what needs to be done. Just putting that out there.
It also affected things such as my ability to go to the bathroom.
Oh!
Benefit.
Oh!
And, where are we headed?
That is disgusting. Disturbing and disgusting.
It was really bad at one point. Luckily, it's not so bad anymore, which is great. So yeah, that would be my worst injury.
I used to have a really bad back injury. It was a severely herniated disc in my lower back to the point where I had numbness and pain and all kinds of stuff. I could barely move around for a year there. During my time when I was on YouTube doing stuff, I could barely even move because I was so messed up. And so when I moved out here to Seattle, I don't know what it was. It could have been my lifestyle changes. It could have just been going to a new area. I don't know, but I said, man, I don't know. The air out here is clean or whatever. I don't know what it is, but my back's better. Oh, the Seattle air healed his back.
Aaron PC Cheers says, at first I wanted to break my controller over Sekiro, but after forgetting what I learned about Dark Souls, realizing this is a totally different game, I love it. I can understand.
Real quick, by the way. So as in how the world would have gone on if he had, if he had met his demise in that car crash. Let's not dig in too much of that. To be honest with you, the only part of that statement that means a damn of anything is how it affects his friends and family. Meaning his direct friends and family. People in like real life, not people online. At the end of the day, life moves on. And he might have not embarrassed himself as much as he did. And he wouldn't be walking around being infamous and caring about a legacy that doesn't mean a damn to anybody but himself. That's what the truth is. To his friends and family directly, it would have been a loss. Would that have been the end of their lives or their worlds? Your parents, maybe, unless his cousin turns out to be one of their illegitimate children, then that's a different story entirely. But outside of that, outside of them being directly impacted, the internet itself does not lose you. There's going to be another idiot out there who's going to talk out his motherfucking ass, and it is what it is. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Sorry, Phil, but you wouldn't have any impact as it pertains to online if you had died. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. If I died tomorrow, no one's going to care. Same thing with you. It's just the way this all works. This illusion of grandeur is rather pathetic. So let me hit you with the dose of reality that no one over there in your fan base is man enough, woman enough, or just in general to do anything with. No one's going to care. Barely anybody cares now. So no one's going to care in the general long run. The only people that you should be concerned that care are your friends and family. Sadly, you don't have a whole lot of friends, and sadly, your family, your words, not mine, they're dwindling anyway. So there you go.
Criticism. Well, Aaron PC, if you didn't see the end of my last stream, that's kind of what happened is I finally kind of figured out, okay, so really what the game wants you to do is parry everything. Like, no bones about it. This game 100% wants you to parry every possible fucking thing. That's the whole game. There's really not much else to it. It's run towards an enemy, they try to attack you, parry. Then counterattack a little bit, then parry, then counterattack a little bit. Oh, staggered him, death blow, done. That's the whole game.
I hate the fucking game. I fucking hate the game. You know what I mean? I absolutely fucking hate the game. Like, to me, this game is work. To me, this is like, I have to really work my butt off to fucking succeed, and I don't want to do that. I want to have fun.
You know, I approached this, when I went back, fought Lady Butterfly, who whooped my ass about 47 times the first time I played her. This time, all I tried to do was parry, and I beat her on the second try. So it's like, it's just such a different engine from Dark Souls. It really is. The whole game is so different from Dark Souls, and you just have to fucking program yourself to do that. Now, Adrenaline Dragon just said, but it seems very tedious, right? I'll be honest, in my opinion, it is. Because for me, it's more exciting. You have a boss fight, you have to look for an opening where you can hit the boss, but it's safe to hit and then recover and counterattack, Not, oh, here comes an attack, time a parry. Here's another attack, time a parry, time a parry, time a parry. Then attack a little bit, time a parry, time a parry. It's a different combat engine. I don't think it's as good as Dark Souls. I think the Dark Souls combat engine is actually better. I do. So, that's my opinion. You could completely disagree with me, and that's fine. Because everyone has different tastes and everyone has different likes and dislikes. I don't necessarily like the combat of Sekiro as much as Dark Souls or Bloodborne. In fact, I would actually say I think I like Bloodborne the most. I like that, dodging and attacking and then parrying with your gun to get a certain counterattack every once in a while that you can do a huge punish afterwards.
Alright, let me cut in there. So, first things first, just because it came out of the same studio as two other games that you've played to oblivion and whatnot, for you to have that general expectation that was going to be all the same is rather stupid at best, to be perfectly honest with you. Secondly, Phil, and I say this with the utmost lack of disrespect, what is wrong with the general idea of people evolving in the world itself? That's what they did with that game. They try to improve on all the things that they've been doing over the years and make a much more challenging game. Now, if you're one of these people who want to continue to be handheld, then so be it, but then the game's not for you, which goes back to that whole thing about day one hype. Looks like you went fell for the marketing scheme. But for everybody else, it is what it is. Is it by far probably one of the most challenging, if not one of the hardest games of the year? Yeah, I think it's going to be. But a lot of people are starting to appreciate the value in that. Maybe, just maybe, the gaming industry was starting to get stagnant. Maybe, just maybe, it needed to get shaken up a little bit. And maybe, just maybe, a publisher and a developer decided, you know what, we're going to go ahead and try to bring the best out of ourselves, in turn bringing the best out of those who purchase our products. I don't think that was wrong. If the game's too hard for you, take it back. If the game's too hard for you, maybe you should just stop gaming. Because to be perfectly honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, this is where gaming is going to go. The whole hand-holding type shit, some companies will hold on to it, some won't. But people are starting to understand that they want more challenges in their games. They want games that will push them to the brink to come back and play it more and more and more. People want more value for their game, which means more replay value, not loot boxes and all the nonsense. So, with that being said, making a much harder game, or a game that's much more difficult, or a game that's a bit more tedious, or a game that requires you to think, requires some precision, this is where we're going. This is where a lot of games have been. A lot of those games Phil has skipped over. I'm sorry that you can't run around and just Hulk smash everything that you see. I'm sorry it doesn't work that way. I'm sorry that it requires some precision, especially from a culture that you don't respect. Sorry, Phil, I understand that you have your hatred for Asians. That's on you. But this is where gaming's going. And if you can't keep up with it, then you might want to live up to your nickname, allegedly, as King of Retro, or maybe you just need to stop playing altogether. Piece of advice. DSP News.
I don't like the idea of you have to block every move with a perfectly timed parry. That's just kind of like, ugh, so tedious, so.
In the last 10 years, that's basically been me. 100% solved. What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Phil's a faggot.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get into what is now the main course. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here yet again with Snort Burnell, Dspgaming, Axe the Pig, Toxic and Strong Session, and Ninja, and without Fortnite, Ninja wouldn't even exist. Imagine that. Here we go.
This is how I play the game!
Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit. That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. The net amount that I still am going to owe to the government, all right, $17,161. Sound good?
Alright, sounds good to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be very honest with everyone. This is episode 75 of Ask the King, and it was very tough for me to even put together enough to do the show. I only have not even 2 pages of questions. Yeah, that's not a good sign. What that tells me is that basically, number one, the show's running so long.
What about all the questions on Twitter that you skipped over? You know, some pointed questions, some very good questions, and some questions that would further flush out how desperate of a situation you're in. What about those questions that were overlooked? Hashtag just saying. Especially since one of those questions too had something to say about your burnt face, which I would have been interested in too, and I didn't see it. Well, can't win them all, I suppose.
Maybe it's already run its course. Most people who had long-standing questions already have asked them. And number two, that people ask me so many questions on live stream every day that maybe there's no reason for Ask the King anymore. I don't know. I want your feedback. I already asked my live stream on the pre-stream, and they were basically of the impression they want to see Ask the King continue, but basically, yeah, maybe I should make it less frequent. Maybe it should be every 3 or 4 months instead of every 2 months. So maybe only doing it once a quarter, 3 times a year, or something like that would make it more.
This is what you should do. First things first. One, the concept of paying this man $20 to ask a fucking question is almost as stupid as paying him $50 for a personal video, unless you're planning on getting some real dirt out of him. So, sorry, those are obsolete. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, maybe, just maybe, this is within the realm of being reasonable, maybe you should do Ask the King only twice a year. How about that? That's 6 whole months of you to come up with whatever you have to come up with, people having their questions that you're going to avoid, I don't know, 85% of them anyway. And more importantly than that, ladies and gentlemen, a chance for some real juicy stuff to come out, because there'd be so many questions that would be filtered to him that he wouldn't be able to get to all of them. He wouldn't be able to screen all of them, which would allow him to talk to his heart's content. Oink, oink. Which means you guys are going to get some real gems if you do it that way. Giving him, breaking it up into 4 times a year, 3 times a year, do it twice a year. He does it that way, everybody will get more out of it. And Phil, if you're listening, you should do that. You might be able to actually corral the pigs into a pen a little bit easier and get yourself more money that way. Anyway, just a suggestion, of course.
Full of a show rather than doing it every other month, because right now I'm not even getting enough questions to do the show every month. Okay?
By the way, thank you to Vergoda69 who just took me $6. He says, checking in. First Ask the King episode I'm actually watching. Wow. Cool, Vergoda. That's good to hear. I hope you enjoy the show. Let's actually get you up on the leaderboard as a top tipper, and then I'll continue to answer this question. $6, which gets us up to $14 total so far today. Thank you. I did not prepare my squirtable ingredients. And they launched all over the place on me, so spread a little bit of that ketchup over the cheese.
Phil, what do you think are the main factors that contribute to YouTube being the disgusting, toxic cesspool of a platform that it is today? There's 2 major factors. Alright? The first is, being very honest here, people might disagree with me, and that's okay, parents not parenting their kids properly.
My parents were being overprotective. I'll tell you why. Because they were having problems with their marriage. I know I've never really talked about this publicly before. I will right now. This is real and from the heart. They were having problems with their marriage at the time when I was in high school. They may or may not have cheated on each other. I don't know or care, because it's not my fucking business, and I don't give a shit what they did, right? But what they decided to do, they decided to put me in the middle of it and make me the center of the issue.
People just letting their kids...
So is that what ended up driving you to be on a cocktail of drugs, and then you became obsessed with some chick that you were stalking? Is that what it was? Was it mommy and daddy issues that put you in that position? And another thing too, and I've brought this up before, I don't know if anybody would co-sign to it. They don't have to. I mean, you got to stand on your own 2 feet, to be honest. But I still am under the almost express theory that your parents are separated, if not divorced. And hence the reason why in some of your older videos, before you actually moved from Connecticut to Seattle, that you kept making almost a consistent mistake of saying, I have to go to my mother's house, and then switch back and say your parents. And then I'm hearing, right, because I don't want to jump the gun too much because I haven't actually done this report yet, that you kind of slipped up again recently talking about, you're going to be going to your mom's house now, and then you flipped it back to your parents and so on and so forth. Which, excuse me, is spawning the theory that I had with Agent Proper, and James the Lesser probably agrees to it to an extent, that maybe one of your parents are actually living at that condo. Hence the reason why you can't move to it. Of course, all of that's just a theory, of course, just a theory. But it does lead to a very interesting situation that I do assume that your parents are separated. And even if they live in the same house, that doesn't mean that they're still not doing their own dirt. So, just something to think about.
Go to YouTube and just thinking it's this safe website where everything is fine and happy and approved for good morality and things your kids should be able to watch, no problem. And they just let their kids go there. And there's all kinds of fucking nasty stuff on YouTube. There's gory shit. There's killings that go up there, and of course they get removed. There's things about sex. There's things about politics. There's just so much shit on YouTube that basically should not be allowed for a kid to watch. I'm not saying it shouldn't be allowed in general on the internet. I'm saying it shouldn't be allowed for a kid to watch. And what happens is people just say, whatever, give your kid the smartphone, give your kid the tablet, here you go, get out there, kid, and just don't bother me.
Well, that's why you have YouTube for Kids, theoretically, and you have restricted mode on YouTube, and which, you know, if you talk the way I talk, for example, at least the language I use, I've been on the restricted, I've been on the restricted aspect of that for a very, very long time. Just for anybody who doesn't know, if your channel's considered restricted, you're not actually, you don't come up in general search. Like, my videos would pop up if you were to look for them, but you wouldn't actually find my channel. If you go ahead and flip it to unrestricted, then everything pops up. I don't know what other detractors are on there or not. I was just told by somebody that I was on there, and then I looked and I saw it. But I would assume that a few of us are. And there's a couple of ways of you getting on there. One, it could be language. Two, if you've been reported, and so on and so forth, or been flagged. I fall into all those categories. So, you know, it's something to think about. If you don't believe me, though, you should try it one day. It'll only take you a second. Well, take you a minute, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's very interesting. Does it impact? It is what it is. But it's still interesting to see who pops up and who don't. DSP News.
I want to have my own life, and I don't want to parent my kid. And the kids go to YouTube and look at the things that they do. They make
Content creators that literally just put filth out there, garbage content, filth, nasty, irresponsible content. That's like me, right? That's like me.
the top people on YouTube. People who just do prank videos and stupid, just insanely dumb shit are the top people on YouTube because we let kids watch whatever they want and just have free reign. Now, the funny thing is, if YouTube's ad system actually worked and realized that the vast majority of people that watch people like Logan fucking Paul and PewDiePie and that shit are little kids, then they probably wouldn't get ads because little kids don't have money to fucking buy shit. So they have made people literally rich and famous off of a failed ad system that gives ads to people who don't bring in money to the companies who advertise.
I acted up.
But you don't bring money into those companies either. And more importantly, you don't bring in money, you barely bring money into any company. Hence the reason why Curse dropped you. Remember, Phil? Remember that they were getting swamped with reports and they had this one person working around the clock to do so, to try to sell these up, false reports or not. And it was costing them more money to have this person go through and go delete over keeping you on the payroll. Hence the reason why they dropped you. At least that's the Dave lore. The real thing is that he wasn't profitable and they kicked him. That's what the real situation is. But it's kind of like that, Phil. And then more importantly, Phil has this strange type of frame of thinking that if the bigger people were kicked off the platform, or if they weren't allowed to get ads and so on and so forth, that people like him would rise to the top. The problem is, though, Phil, is you put out garbage content. You know, some of your early examples of work has been spread around and people know what you're about. You wouldn't get any of those ads either. You would be in the same situation as the rest of them. Hence the reason why YouTube is an archive channel for you now and you're over there on Twitch, even though you're at the bottom of the barrel on Twitch. You're not ever promoted, last time I checked. They're not ever pushing you up further in any of their directives. You have to sit there and basically pick games that very few people play to be the top guy in it. If you want to call that a win, then call it a win. But in truth, it sounds to me like you're just literally kind of like scratching and clawing to be relevant in whatever it is that you're trying to do at that time. Seems a bit, I don't know, incidental to me. It doesn't seem to be really worth the time. Seems a bit irrelevant, to be honest with you. I mean, I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying some of the people that he's named probably shouldn't be there, but either which way they are there. It is what it is. As for ads being thrown around, hey, money's money. It doesn't really matter on how you get it, as long as you get it. You of all people should understand that. DSP News.
To try to bring in little kids to watch my shit so I can be rich. Okay?
I don't really give a shit about Fortnite being dominant on Twitch, Conan the Barbarian, because the people who watch that aren't my audience. My audience is not a bunch of kids and young teenagers. Being quite frank, even though I know I have some of those in my audience, that's not my main viewer base.
I'm just tired of it. I can't babysit fucking kids, you know?
And that's why, in droves, advertisers in the last 3 to 4 years have said, I'm done with YouTube. YouTube just gives my ads to any old video. It doesn't actually have any system to make sure that my advertising is effective. Most likely, these ads are going to terrible things. You know, having ads on racist videos, having ads on shit that only kids watch, and it's a fucking car insurance ad and stuff. See what I mean? It's terrible. The other day, I was watching YouTube, and there was an ad on a video that I played for farm equipment. Farm equipment. I live in Washington State, in an urban area They're advertising farm equipment to me. Do you see what I mean about ineffective advertising on YouTube? So anyway, the bottom line...
So, you're on YouTube, watching videos, presumably your own, you know, because Phil has to get his ad revenue any way he can, and you see something for farm equipment. Now, you live in Seattle, yeah? Well, you live in Washington State, and they're all about having organic food and so on and so forth up there. I mean, that kind of makes some sense. Kind of makes a lot of sense, actually, to be honest. But, all right, whatever. I mean, maybe they shouldn't be advertising to you because you're too lazy to get up off your love seat at times, let alone go out there into an actual field and actually do some work or even manage anything. So, yeah, I guess that would be offsetted. That'd be out of place. But, yeah. Phil, are you still watching your own video for ad revenue? Are we still doing that? Are we still testing to see that you're getting good ads? Jesus Christ, Phil. That's so sad. And the funny thing is, right, is you know that he just has all that shit in a playlist and he just lets it run. You know what I mean? We all know that's what he does. So he's not really even watching it. Unless he's watching detractor content. Which I would assume that's what the case is. You know, if not, he's over there on Kiwi Farms. He doesn't do much. It's not like you're watching wrestling online. Or on YouTube anyway. Which you can, but he's not. So, I don't know.
Parents let their kids just do whatever they want on the internet. The kids flocked to YouTube and created viral fads and things that basically, in my opinion, this is just my opinion as an intelligent adult, shouldn't even be popular. But because kids watch it, all right?
An intelligent adult who has been in debt, was able to get out of debt, put himself back into debt with a declining business, in air quotes. Someone who begs for money every day. Someone who is convincing kids to pay his taxes. But yet you're an intelligent adult. I mean, theoretically, you're definitely manipulative if you were able to figure out how to convince people to give you money to pay taxes that may or may not exist. I mean, I'll give you that. But to call yourself intelligent is a bit... we're shooting for Mars on that one.
It's millions of views, and it becomes virally popular, and YouTube rewards that behavior with more popularity. Put those videos in the suggestion.
As I've told you guys, I don't think anyone doing what I do is a celebrity at all. No, I don't think PewDiePie and Ninja are fucking celebrities. I'm sorry. I don't think Markiplier is a celebrity. These are people who just play games and got lucky on the internet and through various means got rich and have a following. That doesn't make them a fucking celebrity where I want their fucking autograph. That's insane.
Cue the Seinfeld.
I mean, I'll be honest, just like any other normal human, yes, am I jealous of certain people and of people who are successful and whatever? Of course I am. Of course I'm going to have jealousy. That's a natural human emotion for those who have more than you. You're always going to have that natural kind of jealousy of those who maybe have, been more successful or things like that.
All right, and this leads into my second half, YouTube's automation. Because YouTube is almost 100% automated website. Unlike Twitch. Here on Twitch, basically the way things work is...
when you had your problem with Spamgate, and then you had another problem after that, didn't you actually talk to a real person, though? Like, weren't you on the phone with somebody, or you were actually in a live chat with a real individual? One of the people was Mitch, and wasn't the second person Diane? Or Diana? One of the two? Was that advanced AI, or was that not two people that you contacted from YouTube to help you out with a situation? I don't know. Maybe it's semantics. I could have maybe I misimagined that, I guess. I don't know.
It's a lot of human interaction. So, yes, just like YouTube, Twitch is self-policed, but people get reported, and then that goes off to someone who reviews the report. A person, not a bot, a person reviews the report to see if this is valid or not.
Really?
And then makes a judgment. Which is why you've got people who are banned on Twitch, who are nasty, just, toxic people, who are happily thriving on YouTube, but on Twitch they're not welcome. Because YouTube just has these automated systems that don't catch that kind of stuff, okay? And so through automation, what YouTube did is it basically took all the shit that only kids like, alright? Only kids think that these people are entertaining or worth watching, but those kids give it millions of views, and YouTube says, well, we're not going to look at demographics, got millions of views, put it on the front page, keep making that person's videos trend no matter what. So now, just by that automated system, that person by default will be the first thing people see when they go to YouTube, and they just become more popular and more popular.
The salty tears. Salty tears.
It didn't used to do this. The old systems YouTube used to have in place were much better, and then they had these new algorithms, new ways to do things over the last 5 years.
Have you ever thought about, Phil, that maybe people like you abuse the system so goddamn much that they had to find something that was a bit more, I don't know, fair? Maybe they didn't have the manpower to have people like you oink and squeal day in, day out about every little video that's made about them. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm asking a question. I'm not necessarily making a statement. Is it not possible that that might have been what the situation was? Maybe, just maybe, it got so big that it had to do so. And it's funny, though, because we're talking about the automated aspect and why you failed, yeah? That's what the situation is, right? Why the toxic people rose up, and the people, like yourself, that allegedly have talent, allegedly, went ahead and fell to the bottom. Hit rock bottom, if you will. Now, let's talk about you on Twitch for a minute. I don't see you being elevated to the top. I don't even see you being as mid-tier. You're at the bottom. You were a guinea pig, essentially. That's the only thing that saved you. You allowed yourself to be an experiment, and by proxy, they gave you anonymity, and they allow you to stay. But you don't actually bring anything to the table, really. I mean, don't be wrong. You sprinkle some shekels here or there. People have bacon bits on their salads and so on and so forth. People get bacon on Saturday and Sunday morning breakfast, so no one's going without. But what are you really bringing to the table? What makes you lucrative? What makes you something that needs to be promoted by them? I'm just asking. It's just a simple question. Anything at all. I don't see you being invited to any of their special events. I don't see you being used as a new guinea pig for their system. To be perfectly honest with you, Phil, I'm under the theory that they used you as nothing more as thought repellent. That's all YouTube or Twitch used you for. To better protect their thoughts. The ones that are slowly but surely cutting the fat on day in, day out. Other than that, you didn't really have any wealth. You didn't have any self-worth. They didn't see the value in you, and you didn't see the value in you. So they used you for what they needed you to, or what they needed you for, I should say. And then they cast you aside. The only caveat that they gave you is that, okay, you're now, this is your own personal little hug box, your little channel there, and we'll go ahead and ban everybody who's such a bully to you. Okay, piggy? That's essentially what they did. They didn't give you anything else. You can't even get into the bounty system. You can't even do that. You can't even get sponsorships through Twitch, meaning that for gaming chairs or controllers or anything like that, no one will touch you. And on top of that, similar to Cat, and then on top of that, no one's willing to back you up either. You kind of just exist. It's a rather sad existence, to say the very least. I don't know. I might be reading into it too deeply. DSP News.
Website. So now advertisers come in and say, wow,
The top things on YouTube are garbage. We got a drama video maker who all he does is insult people and talk about gossip. Rich is a whore. I'm sorry. Rich is a whore. That guy is such a two-faced fat piece of shit. He pisses me off. Like, I seriously hate people like that are so fucking dishonest and two-faced and will do anything to make a fucking nickel. He's disgusting. We got an idiot gamer who screams at the camera and dresses up like a Muppet and fucking has neon hair. Hello, my children.
Bring your best. This world.
Got a classic pig Muppet right there. That's textbook. I gotta tell you. Surely the oink of his class. By far. The gout of his crop, if you will.
Will shove him up your ass, gotta use the power to stop the motherfucking jackass. Dr. Eggman's having the shit, you're gonna fuck so Larry's got a fucking prick. Alright.
We've got a guy who does prank videos.
Now it's time to clean my ass.
Yeah, looking back at it, he was fucking insane for doing this video. Like, why does that even exist on YouTube? I'm really, really shocked. I I got 3 of my videos flagged because I had beautiful women in it. But this shit is allowed, literally shit. This right here was allowed to go on and be read and wasn't age restricted. How the fuck did that happen? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know what? I need to start that back up again. Yeah, I'm gonna start that back up again. Lazy GTG coming soon. Fuck it.
There we go. I don't want to advertise my business on that.
Now, the debate on who he was talking about is generally thought of as Rich, which is funny, PewDiePie, and then name the prankster of your choice. But let me throw another group of names at you. I'm actually thinking he's talking about Keemstar. He's just not brave enough to say his name. Markiplier, and then, to be honest, you can pick anybody to be the third as the prank shit. That's my thoughts, though, to be honest. Hence the reason why he wouldn't say anybody's name. And even though PewDiePie does color his hair, he doesn't do that type of content anymore. But Phil's so out of touch that he's not going to know.
Oh my god! That's great! Oh my god!
Now I think about it, I don't know if Markiplier even colors his hair like that anymore either. So maybe Jacksepticeye? It might be, I don't know. It might be Jack.
That's none of my demographic. No one there cares about my products, so why am I going to go and advertise on YouTube when the top things are garbage for kids, right? Probably the thing that should be the top advertiser on YouTube is like, it should be like, action figure, not even action figures.
And yes, I see someone asking in the chat, yes, my parents did have the money.
Holy fuck, you're out of touch, bro. There's not a lot of people who collect action figures anymore. Holy shit, Phil, you're out of touch.
Buy it. They were just fucking stupid.
Mobile games for kids, right? Mobile games for kids and kids' clothing accessories and things that kids want. Candy, fucking cereal, breakfast cereal. Those should be the top ads on YouTube because kids are primarily watching the site. You know, and it's terrible, you know. People who once were able to thrive on the site, putting out quality content, can't even shoehorn their stuff into being able to be seen anymore. People who are working their asses off. I'm not saying, by the way.
So, yeah, but before you go ahead and suck yourself off. So, you're going to assume, Phil, that just because you play games that you should be marketed towards children because you play games. And 2 and 2 is supposed to go together. The thing is, though, is you yourself have said in the past that kids have a very short attention span. So, they wouldn't even sit through all of your content anyway. That's why you went, which is one of the reasons why you want to go back to the 10 minutes. You don't really care if anybody watches the video in its entirety. You just want that quick ad at the beginning. You do realize, though, Phil, that kids use ad block also, right? Maybe you should talk to Monday Matt about that. You know, turn off that pesky ad block. It wouldn't have helped you either which way, to be honest. But yet again, Phil doesn't care about that. He just wants the early ad clicks and then just move on with his day. And if he can pump out 30 videos and he can convince 30 kids to get scammed by hitting those videos, he wins. Wow. Who would have thought that the king of hate would think so little of himself?
That's because I give up on YouTube.
Wow.
I'm a live streamer now. You know, the videos I put out are very much not for a YouTube audience, and I understand that I have a hardcore YouTube audience that still watches my stuff, and I'm very appreciative of that. But in general, my videos are not created to appeal to a mainstream YouTube audience. They're very much made just for my longtime fans who can't attend my streams, all right? But there are many, many people out there who work their asses off and used to be popular on YouTube and can't be anymore because YouTube changed the site to be fully automated, only promote shit for kids. And that's what the site has become. It's laziness and ineptitude of the management of YouTube as a whole. The management structure there is absolutely terrible. The people should be fired, and they should hire all new management who actually want to run the site properly. And it's parents letting their kids do whatever the fuck they want on the internet, watching these terrible fucking irresponsible videos and making them virally popular in the fucking first place. If I had a kid, they would not have free reign to watch that trash on fucking YouTube. I'm sorry, they wouldn't. You cannot go watch Logan Paul. That would be fucking blocked. You can't watch that dunce. I don't want you fucking look at him throwing squids at Japanese people and stupid fucking shit. You know, that's
basically how to be an asshole 101. That's what it is. Listen, child. Learn how to be an irresponsible asshole who annoys people and gets into trouble constantly. Breathe. Okay.
That's the popular stuff on YouTube today. And I wouldn't want a kid to watch that. I want them to learn morality and responsibility and not watch that shit and make these people virally popular and rich and fucking famous, which is what all the automation on YouTube does.
Vote Democrat cheers and stood heating. Oh, I think, huh? He basically says PewDiePie is the face of YouTube. 92 million strong. Yeah, 92 million fucking nudniks. I don't even know what else to say. I really don't. He almost got me toxic.
Now the funny thing is, right, and Tevin pointed this out a while ago, that he's lucky that the main drama channels, the real drama channels out there, the real commentator channels out there, the big ones, don't actually report on Phil, because they would literally grind him to dust. And he's very, very lucky, extremely lucky, that PewDiePie or Keemstar or Medicare haven't decided to take an interest in actually doing videos on you again. Well, I don't know. Medicare said recently that he kind of misses Darkside Phil, and he wishes that he could go ahead and get himself back into the mix, that he might feel a little bit better if he had some DSP in his day. Interesting comment, and it'll be interesting to see how we go from that moving forward. But he's very, very lucky that the bigger people that he takes shots at don't clap back, that don't even blow in his direction. He's extremely fortunate, because if they chose to, he'd be fucked. Quite literally, he'd be royally fucked. He'd be proper fucked. So if he thinks Article 13 is gonna hurt him, the enemy is so much closer, so much closer. DSP News.
He almost got me toxic.
Do you believe that Battle Royale is a fad? It's been around for almost 2 years now and honestly is stronger than ever and shows no signs of slowing down. You even play Blackout and Apex regularly every week because you enjoy them and the viewers want to see those games. I think Battle Royale is different than previous types of games that would end up fading away as fads in years past, as the enthusiasm around Battle Royale is unlike anything we've ever seen before. Do you really think it'll die within a year from now, like you previously said? And that's from Barack Obama. Guess what? First of all, I completely disagree with you. It is not unlike anything we've ever seen before. I've seen fads like this happen before in gaming. These fads come and go. These fads happen and they go away. In regards to Battle Royale, Battle Royale has not only been around for a couple years. Battle Royale was a fad on PC back with games like DayZ, PUBG, H1Z1. Those games were virally popular on PC for a while. But because they never broke over to the mainstream consoles, the mainstream gamers didn't really talk about them or care about them. You know, the average kid never played a Battle Royale game until Fortnite came out on consoles. It became a Battle Royale game, which originally it wasn't. It was redesigned to be Battle Royale, and then became free to play.
I don't know how ridiculous. Do you not realize how ridiculous you sound? Fortnite was big before it came to console. It was ridiculously big before it came to console. The majority of people who played on Twitch the majority of people who played on Twitch played on PC, Phil. You do know this, yeah? Some of them still do. So what do you... Alright, let me let him continue.
Then all of a sudden, now you have a mainstream way for a kid to play a Battle Royale game on every single console. Just so happens that Fortnite was cartoony, it had emotes, and dances, and stupid outfits, and all kinds of shit that kids like.
And it did have a skill curve. Don't forget that.
Right? All that dumb fluff shit that doesn't add to a game, but kids love it. And that's why Fortnite became virally popular the way it did in the last year and a half.
And that's why it's mainstream. That's why Ninja exists. If Fortnite didn't catch on, Ninja would not exist. He was someone who tried to break out as a streamer for many, many years and never really was making it. And then finally with Fortnite,
How do you know any of this when you don't watch other streamers, first and foremost? Like, he was making more money than you doing what he was doing before Fortnite. Huh? Like, how does someone who's not successful measure success? And how do you measure the success of other people that you don't watch? I'm so confused.
Lucky, and the whole thing exploded, and you know, now he's on the front page of ESPN and shit. You see what I mean? So that's what it is. It's an element of jealousy. Do you show your toxic jealousy and just how petty you fucking are when you react to something like that?
But Battle Royale, or Battle Royale, or however the fuck you say it, because King calls us off as nitpicking and being annoying in the stream chat like usual, is basically a fad. That's why everyone jumped on it. Everyone has jumped on the fad. How many spin-off games?
But so have you. You played PUBG and you're playing Blackout. You tried to play Fortnite. I think you might have actually played H1Z1 for a little while too. Don't you play Minecraft? Don't you still play games day one? I don't know, Scooby. I don't know.
Battle Royale or Battle Royal as something added on or tacked on to the gameplay experience that was originally designed of what it was supposed to be, because they want that fad money. But it's not going to last forever. It's not. All right.
No, it's not. But hopefully they'll be smarter than you and actually save some of it. Maybe the majority of it. Hopefully.
So, Cheers says, did you know Ninja was a pro Halo player before Fortnite? He actually averaged thousands of viewers as well. I knew that he had a following before Fortnite, absolutely. But I knew that he never really broke out. He never became the popular guy. He was just known as one of those guys that does that kind of stuff. And then when Fortnite,
what do you mean by one of those guys who does that kind of stuff? Like, he's well regarded as a Halo player. Like, he's like, some people equate his ability to like straight ripping or team boss back in their heyday. Oh, you wouldn't know anything about that. Okay, fair enough. You don't follow Halo or Halo 2. I got you. No problem. But he was equated to guys like that, to teams like that. But yet again, you wouldn't know anything about that. Gotcha. You get all your information from Twitter. No problem. I can only hold you to such a standard because Twitter can only do so much. You know, there's only so many characters, right, Phil? Hence the reason why you can't articulate yourself the way you want to when you're in your drunken rages and whatnot. When you're in your gen field, when you're in your gen-filled feelings, there's not enough characters for you to articulate the way you want to. Hence the reason why all of your tweets when you're on those binges end up fucking you up. I got you. No problem. I couldn't expect you to do any real research. No problem. I got you.
Boom, he exploded. So, Dope Soap cheered. He says, you said he wouldn't exist if not for Fortnite. I know you don't like... Alright, Dope Soap, stop. I'm just gonna stop you. Stop you right here. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. I didn't say he wouldn't exist at all without Fortnite. I said he was a guy who streamed and was struggling trying to make it, and then because of Fortnite...
How was he struggling trying to make it when you just said that the guy had a following? I'm so confused again. Very, very confused.
He blew up, and that's 1,000,000% true. Go ahead and try to spin it however you want to be a negative jerk. That's not what I fucking said. Alright. Joe Blows Flamoni tipped me $1 and said I should redo Smart Guys with Derek. No, I'm not going to do that. Why can't I do a Cooking with the King with healthy meals? 2 reasons. Number 1, because usually I don't cook them. Usually it's Kat. Like today, Kat is going to make us a delicious baked chicken with a breading that's crispy and tender, and she actually seasons it with lemon pepper and stuff like that. And
okay. Now, Tevin brings this up a lot. And for good reason, to be honest. So let me dial that back, because I don't mean to make it sound that way. Tevin has picked up on this, on Phil's habits and trends of talking about food, and the way he talks about food, really, not just the sheer amount of it. So, first things first, it's amazing, in my own personal opinion. I'll go over this in depth when I actually go through all of Axe the King. It's amazing how a man who can't cook a lick, who is truly reliant on somebody else to cook his meals, to clean his messes, to do everything for him, essentially, who has the nerve to hold other people and other companies to a certain standard that he himself cannot meet nor obtain. He is 36 years old, and he can't cook. He can cook less than a handful of things, and if you break it down, out of all the things he says he knows how to cook, he can only really cook one thing. Don't believe me? Give me a second. Watch me work. So, the man eats fajitas, turkey burgers, his homemade sauce, which he's doing wrong, by the way. What else do you do, Phil? Yeah, turkey burgers, fajitas, homemade sauce, a sandwich. That's it? So, okay, so 4 things. We'll give him a 5th thing, call it mysterious, whatever. But let's give him 5 things that he can do. Out of all 5 things that I just named, one of them is a give me. So out of the 4 things I've named, he can only do one thing, and he can't even do that right. He only cooks, theoretically, one thing, and he can't even do that right. Yet he praises himself on the fact that he can make Italian sauce, despite the fact that he's not even Italian, but he's certainly making his mother's sauce wrong. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm pretty confident that Mrs. Burnell didn't want her baby boy to make the sauce like that. I'm pretty confident. So, in actuality, he can only cook one thing, and he fucks that up. But yet he can go around, and he made DSP Tries-Its for years, shitting on different businesses, shitting on different individuals about how bad they are at making food, putting it together, wrapping it, and so on and so forth. General consumer stuff, no problem. This is also the same idiot who says that, oh, I would like to retire and actually own my own restaurant. Now, as amusing as that is, you can't cook. So in theory, the only thing that you can do is depend on other people who have skill and have talent to actually make the food that you want to sell in this restaurant, yeah? Now, here's the problem. The overall problem, I should say. Because he has no general know-how on how to cook at all, anything that a chef asks for, he basically has to pay it. He doesn't really have too much of a choice because he doesn't have the knowledge and the know-how to really understand what they're worth compared to the business's overall plan. He essentially he's pretty much at the whim of the workers. With that being said, if the only way he could really recruit people is to bring them in, let him go back there into that kitchen and make something from whatever's back there and just make it good. That's it. And that's how he would have to determine what chefs he's gonna choose. He's not gonna care about what their background credentials are because it's all gonna seem like Greek to him anyway. There'd be no point, and Theo's not gonna be there to interpret it for him. So he's gonna have no choice but to be yet again at someone's beck and call, at someone else's whim. So it's gonna be funny how if he was to own his own restaurant, he would literally be employing the people that he would be working for. Isn't that insane? But yet this man has the nerve to sit here and talk about food with the type of lust that most men at the gym probably talks about his girlfriend, and yet he can't really do anything. He's impotent, to say the very least, to his whole situation. Oh boy. Let us continue though. I'm not gonna let the cat out of the bag yet.
Like a veggie on the side or whatever. I don't do that. The thing, I'll tell you right now, I'll be very honest with everyone. Here's what I really can cook. Any kind of a burger, whether it's beef, chicken, turkey, I can fry a good burger, okay? I can do chicken fajitas or steak fajitas as long as I get the pre-made ingredients and I just do stir fry. I can do an Asian
Then you're not
stir.
cooking it. You're just heating it up. Same thing with the turkey burgers. You're not making it fresh, right? Because you can't touch red meat no more, because if not, it'll instantly give you gout the moment it touches your hand. So that's out of the question. Meaning turkey and chicken burgers are going to have to be pre-made for you, because it's not like you're going to take up ground up chicken or turkey and go ahead and make it yourself. Go ahead and roll up into a ball, flatten it all out, season it well, and so on. So you're not going to do any of that. So that's pre-made. What else you got for me, Phil? Tell me what your life's like.
Fry. Same thing. Get the ingredients. Do the stir fry. And I can make pasta sauce, and I can make pasta. That's it. That's all I can make.
Holy shit, I gave you way too much goddamn credit, Phil. Goddamn. All right, fair enough. It is what it is. I gave you 5. You can only do 3, which in actuality you can only do 1. Theoretically, I was right in the end, but one has to be thorough.
Sandwich. So what exactly do you expect me to make in Cooking with the King? I don't have a repertoire of meals I can make. Kat is the one who makes us our meals most of the time. So I don't know what crazy shit you guys think is going to come out of the sky that I can make for Cooking with the King and why you guys keep asking for it. It's insane. Like, what are you...
Now, before he gets into this rant, because it should be good, it's, yet again, you can't tell me, for anybody who's ever heard me say this, you can't tell me that Cat is merely just a replacement for Panda. I mean, really, like, that's all she is. She's just a replacement. It has to be an arrangement. This isn't love, as you can tell. His love is for John and for food and for money. Nothing else. Not even his parents fall into that equation. And keep in mind, he's about to be 37. Can only cook one thing and does it extremely poorly. In a day and age where cookbooks, apps, the internet itself is readily available. You can learn anything. There are YouTube videos out there that will have tutorials to walk you through shit. He can't do any of that. Keep all that in mind.
Talking about. DJ Runo Cheerdy says, would you do a poorly Cooking with the King where you cook a random recipe online and try doing whatever you pick? Afterwards, you have to eat it. Unless it's a health hazard, of course. You never know. DJ Runo. So, I gotta ask a question. I'm just gonna throw this out there, alright? For the sake of it. I stream from 10:15 a.m., so, an hour after I wake up in the morning, until 4 p.m. Then I upload videos. Then I eat dinner, clean up after dinner. I'm right back to stream. And I usually stream till around 9:30, 10 p.m. Then I'm uploading videos, doing social media. So essentially, every day that I'm doing streaming, I'm working from 10 to 10. Okay? When am I going to make this video? Am I going to cook a meal at 11 at night that I might not like? You know what I mean? How is this going to happen? Exactly. Just, I mean, seriously. Give me the explanation. What you're actually asking me, okay, is to, okay, we want to see you do a cooking video, but don't stream instead. So don't stream and actually make money to pay my bills. Instead, make a random cooking video that may or may not be good, a meal that I probably don't care about and don't want to eat. Why the fuck do you want to see me do a cooking video? Like, you're driving me nuts.
So listen, so you don't cook because you have no interest in cooking. You would rather have someone else do it for you. That's all you have to say. Because that's what I took from this. That's all you have to say.
God.
Why am I toxic? More toxic, more toxic. Well, I think I'm toxic now.
Seriously, like, what is the big deal about this? What is the big deal about this? I am here streaming my ass constantly to do stuff for you guys. Why is that not enough? Why now do you need cooking videos? The era of me doing one-off weird-ass videos is over. I am a live streamer on Twitch. Stop this. Stop this madness.
Wait, one, you don't do anything and you don't provide anything. That's the first thing. Second thing is, you're the one who tried to sell off your soulmate to us. Yeah, to us too, because theoretically some of the detractors throw money at you, so it is what it is. You try to sell off your girlfriend under the premise and the idea of starting a cooking show, and you couldn't get it to sell. So all he's doing essentially is playing off of that, just with you instead of her. What's the problem? So you're upset, and you were upset when you couldn't get people to buy into that idea of Kat having her own cooking show, but now you're pissed off that people want to see you actually cook something. Alrighty.
It's what it is. It's madness at this point. Oh my god.
Santiago-san, I don't ignore people who don't attach money to their messages, but I purposely ignore idiots like you who like to say I do, and then I ban them. Like this. It's a lot of fun to lean forward and do that lean-in ban on assholes like
I mean, granted, he's on Kiwi Farm, so he already knew what that was. Let's be honest.
I'm just going to ban. Just a reminder that talking about any kind of stupid detractor stuff or people who steal from me is going to be an instant ban in the chat, especially when you're talking about someone who has view bots on his fucking stream constantly. Yes. Did you know someone's restreaming you and has 900 viewers? Yeah, I haven't even started yet. So obviously it's not legit. Obviously it's view bots, stupid. But you're that dumb. So there you go. It's salty as fuck. It's like pure salt. All you could taste was salt. You couldn't taste anything else. Over 1,800 milligrams of sodium. This is one of the saltiest things with this salt flavor. Ugh. And that's absolutely correct, Android. You're right that if someone is illegally restreaming my stream, those are my views. You're right, they are. And hilarious that I do this for a living, right? And I make way more money than Tevin, even though I have way less viewers. Let's think about that for a second. What pasta do you prefer?
Let's talk about that briefly for a minute. His disdain for Tevin it probably runs deeper than I give it credit for, than a lot of us do, because it definitely comes from a sense of envy. Like, he never was like this with SOK. He wasn't, at least from what I've seen. And keep in mind, I haven't delved into the whole thing yet, but it's not like that. Like, with Tevin, he holds a real special place for Tevin. He really does. And one of my theories is, well, one, Tevin hasn't figured out. He hasn't figured out in such a way that if John Rambo turned into a detractor tomorrow, John Rambo would be Tevin. And I think Phil realizes that. So the frustration that he has for John, he puts it on Tevin. That's just a theory. But I feel like I'm not too far off of the mark. Now, there are other reasons too, quite a few. We're not going to get into that right now. But there are quite a few other reasons too. But really, that's one of the main reasons. Tevin understands Phil in a way that Phil is not comfortable with. And so he lashes out at him because he can't really avoid him. He can't ignore Tevin. He could try to, and he has way before he started giving Tevin all the spotlight. But he just can't run from him. It's amusing, and yet at the same time, it's rather sad in its general approach. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just gonna throw that out there. That's just my general thoughts. Let's continue.
I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar. Phil's a racist. Phil's a scammer. DSP's a pedophile. DSP is a thief. DSP is a greedy fuck.
This guy's a bitch.
I have a micro penis.
Okay, I did it all for that moment, because I love this moment. Snort Burnell's great. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and set the mood before we go ahead and close up shop. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so that is basically the scheme. To sit there and say what you say about Ninja and then take it back literally in the next sentence is rather pathetic, but that's the Phil way of going about it. Axe the King is going to end up going by the wayside because why not? It's not profitable anymore. And as it pertains to his ego and Article 13, you're going to have to bite the bullet on that. Thank you very much to Voiceless Geek yet again. Like I said, there's going to be a couple broadcasts that are going to come up that's not going to have the Snort report in it. That's just because it was already pre-recorded and it was not posted when it was supposed to be posted. I'll take full responsibility for that. But I think this is what we'll go with moving forward. So thank you yet again to Voiceless Geek. As it pertains to Phil himself, it's just another day in the life, to be honest with you. And as in Phil's nature, he will cut off the things that aren't profitable to him, whether projects, whether friends. Doesn't matter how long they've been around or how long he's done it. If it's not worth a damn, then it has to go. To be honest with you, if you haven't learned that at this point, don't worry, you're gonna learn really, really fast. So don't feel bad. It is what it is. As for the marathon coming up, it's gonna fail. As for his birthday, it's gonna be laughable. And as for his trip, I think at this point, Snort Burnell has a new video out on that. So we'll go over that soon. Should be out certainly by the weekend because, you know, with the videos that we're backed up on, plus what should have already been posted, I should have a video for you every day leading up till Phil going on vacation, I think. We'll see. But you should get a boatload of videos from me. So, you know, you'll get my general thoughts. I think that Phil is literally scratching and clawing for something that's not there. And it's not that hard to figure out. And everybody can see it but him. Even the true believers don't believe it anymore. It is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. This was the Snort Report. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Network Productions. I am your host / anchor, GTG, and I'm signing off. Thank you very much for your time and the broadcast.
Dude, I'm watching this fucking fat fuck talk about how he can't find a fucking apartment, alright? Cause, I work 6 days a week, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't have fucking time to go find an apartment. Dude, you flew out to Washington to house hunt for your fucking house that you are so stubborn. You're so fucking stubborn, you fat fuck, that you can't sell your fucking house? What's your fucking problem, dude?
I'll get defeated by the fucking trolls.
And an asshole. I think the only person actually coming out on top from the whole Article 13 is DSP. He can finally take down all the detractors. I don't know what, God, I miss DSP. He's kind of like a constant on the internet, right? He's a total fuck up, and he does really dumb shit, but DSP will always be DSP. He's very reliable in that. Like, hearing new DSP related news will be the same as hearing any news related to DSP for the past 10 years. I need to pay more attention to DSP. I've fallen out of doing that, and I think it would probably give me a little bit of happiness to watch that bumbling dipshit just do dumb stuff on the daily.